Yo, what's up guys? In this video, I'm going to be showing you my ultimate Buried City PvE loot route. With this route, I consistently get multiple blue weapons, 1 to 2 purple weapons, rare blueprints, and a hefty 100 to 150,000 coins worth of valuables as well. You can even run this route with a free loadout. As you can see here, in this free kit run, I got 4 blue weapons, a volcano, and a bunch of other valuable stuff such as all the different gun parts and sellable trinkets. Obviously, you will be hindered by the limited inventory space if you choose to go with a free kit, but this is an amazing route for people trying to do 0 to hero runs. Best of all is that since we are avoiding the most contested parts of the map, it's extremely common to have 0 PvP encounters throughout the entire route, which makes the run very relaxing and efficient. For those of you that are interested, here's the loadout I like to use when running this route. It's nothing super special, just a looting augment, Venator, anvil, and some meds. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into it. Alrighty, we're loaded in. Of course, we are doing this on a night raid. You get significantly better loot. We got the bottom left spawn maintenance depot, which is not super ideal, but not terrible. We're obviously going to be able to make it work, no problem. First stop is going to be the Santa Maria houses. You'll definitely want to be careful around here because there are a lot of player spawns, and also, there's also a Rocketeer right over here at the Grandioso Apartments. We kind of half aggroed him a little bit, so we're going to have to chill for just a second. While we're doing that, we might as well just loot some of these containers in the Grandioso Apartments. Already got a blue trinket there, pretty nice. Go ahead and loot this cabinet as well. We got some duct tape, another blue trinket, never hurts. Another cabinet, blue trinket, pretty sweet. Grandioso Apartments. Pretty decent loot. Definitely not part of the loot route though, because they are a bit more contested. I wouldn't be surprised, or you shouldn't be surprised, if you end up running into some players here. So, you know, loot these at your own risk, of course. Obviously, since this isn't part of the route, I'm not going to spend any extra time here. And now that the Rocketeer is de-aggroed, let's go ahead and kind of get moving. Gotta figure a way out of these apartments without taking too much fall damage though. And speak of the devil, there is a player, but obviously this is a loot route video. You know, I like to PvP, but I'm not gonna waste your guys' time by engaging in a fight at this point. Let's go ahead and run by this snitch. Doesn't really matter if we aggro him, we're just gonna keep running. Ideally, we wouldn't aggro him because it does give away our position, but, you know, it doesn't really matter too much. We'll just bob and weave into this building really quick, take care of this little pop. And always make sure you're checking like chairs and couches and stuff. As you can see there, we went ahead and grabbed a snow globe actually, which is super sick. You'll find tons of trinkets on like couches, chairs, sofas, anything like that. You'll always find trinkets and sometimes even just regular crafting materials. But in this case, we found a pretty nice trinket. And yeah, so I mean, now we're just going to kind of slowly make our way over to the Santa Maria house. We're not trying to draw too much attention to ourselves. Something crazy going on over here. Oh, shit. There is a player in here, but seems like a chill dude. I'm not even going to emote at him. I'm just going to keep going about my business, keep looting, because that's what we are here to do. Just going to salvage all these things down, but honestly, at the end of the day, I'll probably end up getting rid of the basic materials later, but you never know. Having some stacks of 50 rubber parts, metal scraps, fabric, all that stuff could end up being something you want to take out, especially if you're actually in dire need of the basic materials. In my case, I've got way too many of them in my inventory already, so I'm sure I'll be getting rid of them here soon enough. And yeah, this building isn't really part of the loot route, so I'm kind of just trying to figure out the best way over to the houses. But I think I'm going to go ahead and take the roof, and just kidding. Alrighty, well, this Rocketeer has messed with us twice now, so we're just going to have to wait him out here, wait for him to de-aggro. So I'll speed up the video, I'm sure, at this point. Alrighty, that little meh meh is his noise that he makes whenever he de-aggros, so we're pretty much good to go now. We're gonna keep making our way over, and still not quite actually at the loot route, so to speak. But general rule of thumb, like if you ever see cabinets, drawers, things like that, just loot them. Like cabinets, drawers, lockers. Honestly, the best way to put it is anything that you don't have to breach, like breachable containers, excluding the little square boxes. Like those are gas. They always have decent loot. But a lot of the other breachable containers in the game suck. Also, here's a weapon cache spawn. It can spawn right in this corner. Unfortunately, it didn't spawn this run since I'm recording, of course, but it can spawn right there. What was I saying? Yeah, back to what I was saying. Generally speaking, if you can loot something without having to breach it, you should go for it. Not only is it simple, easy, isn't going to give away your position, but generally they just seem to have better loot. Like filing cabinets, drawers, lockers have infinitely better loot than most of the things that actually require you to breach. Anyways, though, here we are at the start of the loot route. We're in the building directly next to Santa Maria House. You're going to want to enter this from the northwest roofs, and then you're going to come straight up to the attic, and we have a little security breach that we're going to hit here. We hit 3 security breaches, or security breach lockers, whatever you want to call them, throughout the loot route. This perk, like, if you don't have the perk, it doesn't matter. The perk got nerfed. The loot in these is nowhere near as good as it was prior to the most recent patch. But we're still just going to hit them anyways because they are decent. Like, they're not, you know, I wouldn't skip them. But if you don't have the perk, it doesn't matter. The loot route is still insane. We're getting most of the loot from weapon caches, medical bags, grenade tubes, cabinets, drawers, lockers, stuff like that. You already know. The security breaches are just like icing on the cake, I suppose. Even after the nerf, I would still get the perk personally, just because most of the other like capstone perks or end of tree perks, whatever you want to call them, just kind of suck. But anyways, after you hit that first attic, get the first security breach, you're gonna go up on top of the roof. You're gonna walk across the roofs, come into the attic of the Santa Maria house now, which is where we're at. We're going to go ahead and loot up all these cabinets, drawers, etc. And there's also another security breach in this attic. So it's 100% spawn rate for both the attics. They're always going to have these little security breaches within them. Like I said, loot's not that great, but 100% spawn rate, you might as well hit them. And we're already getting some decent stuff. We got complex gun parts from the first one. We've got a couple trinkets. Nothing super crazy yet, but we've got some okay stuff. We're already starting to fill up the inventory. We've got some heavy gun parts, not bad. Sensors kind of suck. Medium gun parts, decent. Just making a stack of wires right now because maybe I'll end up keeping it. Probably not. More than likely it'll get dropped, but, you know, who knows? Maybe we end up having to leave early for some reason, and then maybe we'd keep it. Actually got another trinket there. Now we've already got quite a few trinkets. We've got the snow globe. We've got all 3 of our trinket slots filled up with blue trinkets. This couch can actually have a weapon cache spawn as well. Once again, since I'm recording, of course it's not going to spawn. No surprise, but it can spawn there. I'll put a clip right now of me looting this exact weapon cache spawn and getting a volcano earlier. It's actually pretty common, so I'm kind of surprised it didn't spawn this run, but it is what it is. Went ahead and dropped some of the basic materials already. We already filled up our inventory, so now we gotta start being a little bit more calculated, actually dropping stuff for better stuff, of course. Got another trinket, nice. Keep looting the cabinets. Wolf pack, duct tape. Do like duct tape since you need it for attachments, obviously. So if I can, I'm going to try and keep this. I'll have to drop something here. This is the worst part of the loot route, trying to figure out what to drop, what to keep, etc. But we'll make it work like this for now. You don't have to be 100% perfect with this because you can just do the loot route again, keep getting more loot. And yeah, there's another weapon cache spawn in this building. It's right over here, right next to the couch, like to the left of the couch. On this couch, you can obviously find more trinkets like we did. We found a music box, I think is what it was. But you can find other stuff too. But obviously, like I said before, you find trinkets, goodies in general on couches, chairs, etc. The other weapon cache spawn is also not here, which is crazy. The fact that none of the weapon cache spawns have shown up is pretty absurd, but we do have multiple other ones to go ahead and hit, so we're certainly going to find some, of course. And yeah, at this point, we're done with Santa Maria House, so we're just going to take the zip back up to the attic. We're going to make our way to the next spot via the roof. Sounds like there's a player out here. He'll probably be friendly. Let's see. Yo, you friendly or what's up?
Yeah, I'm friendly.
Alright, perfect. Probably friendly. Probably not going to stab us in the back, but we'll just keep our eye on him, obviously. It's usually how it goes in this section of the map. People are pretty friendly over here. If you go over towards like hospital, space travel, it's a little bit more sketchy, but if you kind of you can get away with those areas too if you're just looting them really quick and not getting caught up, you know, wasting a bunch of time in one area. Anyways, though, there's a weapon cache spawn right here opposite of the top of the stairs. Unfortunately, another one that did not spawn. It's actually pretty crazy, but we did get a Lance's mixtape, so that makes up for it. It's an easy 10,000 credits from that one item. Love that. Now we're gonna not actually head up to this attic. There's usually nothing up there. Sometimes I'll just check it just to be sure. I think you can definitely find stuff on the ground, but it's like not really worth your time. Now we're gonna keep moving. There's gonna be a zip over here, and we end up taking this zip to kind of the next spot. Just checking this other attic really quick. Nothing in here. Let's keep moving. Like I said, the zip is right over here somewhere. I'm going to check this attic too real quick. Might as well. Never know. Probably could be like a lootable cabinet in there or something. Also, actually, before we take the zip, there's one other weapon cache spawn I'd point out. It's right down there. I almost always find Venators in that weapon cache when it spawns there for some reason. I'm not sure why. But just thought I'd point it out really quick. It is really risky to actually go hit that one, though, because you're, like, right out in the middle, wide open. After that zip, though, right over here, there's going to be 2 weapon cache spawns near here. One right there. Also didn't spawn. Probably the most unlucky route that I've actually ever had, not having a single weapon cache so far. There's another spawn in this building. Same as the other building. It's opposite the top of the stairs, but it also didn't spawn, which is pretty crazy. We've got another security breach in here, though, which is nice. And now I think about it, I think it's actually 4 total security breaches that we're going to hit during this route, not 3, like I said before. Go ahead and hit this one real quick. And surely, like, all of the other weapon cache spawns we hit are going to spawn, right? Like, it would just be crazy that we've ran across like 5 or 6 spawns and none of them have been here yet, which is just absurd. Anyways, I'm like not even paying attention to my loot, but I've got some light gun parts. We kind of want to keep those. Yeah, we're just gonna have to figure out some space here. We'll drop the lab regions and we'll just leave everything else. Keep going. We've got 3 cat beds at this point, which is kind of crazy. It's a lot of trinkets. Sometimes that trash can is lootable. This time it was not. Not gonna waste time breaching that like electrical thing. It makes a shit ton of noise and almost never has any super good loot. Another player down there. Yep, he seems chill. Got another music box, which is sweet. We've already got a stack of music boxes in our inventory, so just keep adding to the stack. And yeah, next up we've got a few more weapon caches right over here. Just gonna jump across this little gap. There's gonna be one in this building. We've got some pops that we need to deal with really quick. Usually one more pop. Where is it at? Here it is. And yeah, the weapon cache spawn is right. Finally one of the weapon caches spawned. Alright, so we'll go ahead and loot this one. And we got a Berletta. That's pretty disgusting. So we're just going to turn that into simple gun parts. Always salvage the green guns. Like, green guns aren't super common if you're doing this at night. If you do it during the day, you're almost always going to get green guns. During night, you usually get blue or purple. Usually blue, but you'll get purple if you're like in a high tier loot zone when you hit the weapon cache spawn sometimes. But if it's a green gun and you don't like it, you should always just salvage it for the gun parts, because you need like 1,000,000 gun parts if you're crafting Venators and stuff. Another weapon cache can spawn in this little tower. This one's super rare though, I feel like. I've seen it like 2 or 3 times after doing this route, maybe 15, 20 times or something. I probably see it like 1 in every 4 runs or 1 in every 5 runs, but it doesn't hurt to check. Now we're gonna keep moving. We're gonna be getting another weapon cache spawn, or another security breach and weapon cache spawn actually. Wait, no, there's no weapon cache in this building. I'm tripping. Yeah, this is the 4th and final security breach is in here. It's gonna be once again up in the attic, just like all of the other ones are pretty much. Go ahead and snag this real quick. Heavy fuse nade, nice. More gun parts, showstopper, more gun parts. Not bad. Like to go ahead and grab this heavy fuse nade, because when you're actually PvPing with a squad especially, heavy fuse nades are disgustingly strong. So just stacking up on those certainly never hurts. Smoke grenades are also pretty decent, but I think we'll go ahead and leave that one for now. Probably need to drop these wires in just a little bit. And yeah, that is going to be like the main loot route. Like everything that we just did so far, that is like the main loot route. Probably most efficient thing you can do is at this point just go ahead and extract and run it again. Like I said, we were a little unlucky this run. We actually got very few weapon cache spawns so far, which is pretty wild. But I'll actually throw in some clips right now of me like hitting some of those weapon cache spawns, just so you can see that they do actually exist. I'm not just making up random weapon cache spawns on the fly. But as we continue the video, I'm actually going to do something a little bit different this time. I'm going to like show you guys a really high value way to like extend this loot route. It is a tiny bit risky because you are going to have to go up towards space travel, hospital, and kind of that area, but there's a lot of weapon caches that you can hit if you just kind of like follow the route that I'm about to show you. And you can make it like very safe if you just move quick. Like the way that most people kind of get caught up and end up getting killed is they try and loot like an entire building, and during the time it takes for them to loot the entire building, people will show up, hear you looting, and they'll sneak up on you and kill you. So, you know, something you can do to avoid that is just hit or loot the highest value sections of the building only, and then move on. So you're kind of continuously moving. You can even then yourself, you can actually roll up on people that are busy looting. You can get free kills that way. Obviously, it's going to get you more loot. But in this case, we're not going to PvP. But I'm going to show you guys a way to extend this loot route. My inventory's already full. I've already got like a decent haul, a lot of credits, a lot of coins, but I didn't get many weapon caches, so I'm actually just going to show you guys a bunch of the other weapon cache spawns really quick and kind of like an efficient way on how you can hit them. You could even use this, for example, if you spawn on this side of the map, you could come do this first and then come down to the south side. But we're going to go ahead and make our way over to space travel real quick, and I'll catch you guys when we're there. Alrighty, now like I said, you want to be very quick in this part of the map because it can get a little sketchy. So enter space travel on the northeast side like I just did. Come in through the windows. All we're doing here is we're hitting these lockers. Already got a Lance mixtape, which is awesome. I want these steel springs, so I'm going to make space for them. Yeah, it's 2 Lance mixtapes this run, which is absolutely crazy. Getting 2 of those in one run is just absurd. But yeah, like I said, enter space travel through the windows. all we're doing is hitting these lockers, and then we're gonna bounce because we don't want to spend a bunch of time here. Take some seeds. We'll throw this silencer on. Okay, there's a jolt mine somewhere nearby, which is a bit spooky. I'm just gonna go take a peek. If I absolutely have to, I mean, I will fight somebody. Like, I'm not gonna like shy away from the PvP per se, or I'm definitely not gonna let someone just kill me for free. But we'll try to avoid it. So we're just gonna try and loot this up really quick. Just make sure there's no more lockers that need to be looted in here. And then the only other thing we do in space travel, or actually there's one more locker. Hold on, let's hit this first. Okay, yeah, the only other thing we do in space travel is right across over here. Just kill this fireball. But yeah, right across the hall, there is a trash can, like a guaranteed trash can spawn. Spawns every single time, without fail. And trash cans give some of the best loot in the game. If you know, you know. But they always just come stacked. More steel springs. Look at that. Freaking smoke grenade blueprint. I actually don't have this blueprint yet, which is pretty crazy. So we're just gonna safe pocket that real quick. Definitely love that. Like I said, trash cans just have the best loot in the game. They're just insanely broken. Just catch ourselves on fire real quick, no problem. And now we're gonna boot, scoot, and boogie, get the hell out of here. Next up, we're gonna hit the parking garage really quick. In specific, we're gonna hit the bottom floor, like the very, very bottom floor, because it's got some weapon cache spawns, medical bag spawns. That's pretty much all that we care about down there is the weapon cache, medical bag spawns. Wait for this car to stop tweaking. Now we're gonna go ahead and breach this real quick. Okay, open this up. We're gonna drop down. And yeah, so first weapon cache spawn is on this car, didn't spawn. Next one is on this truck, didn't spawn. Third one was on those blue little tarped containers behind us, also did not spawn. Medical bag can spawn in some of those spots as well, but I didn't see it, so I'm not gonna waste any time. Like I said, in these areas, you gotta move. Like, you cannot stay here. People will roll up on you, so I just run through. If I see the weapon caches, sick, I'll loot them. If not, I just keep moving. Keep on moving. There's also, technically, there's a grenade tube that spawns 100% of the time down in the parking garage, but honestly, just don't care too much about the grenade tubes. Some people say you get blueprints from them. I feel like I never get blueprints from them, so I don't really hit them that often, but I mean, to each their own, to each their own. At this point, we're just gonna boogie into the hospital super quick, and there's one room that we're gonna hit in the hospital, or one room that we're gonna loot. I gotta stop saying hit in place of loot. We're gonna loot one room in the hospital. You enter on the northwest side like I did. You just walk into the sand, and then this is the room that we loot. Once again, lockers, cabinets, surprise, surprise, best loot in the game. Unfortunately, someone has already been here and scooped up all the goodies, which sucks. We'll take these seeds really quick. And yeah, unfortunately, someone already hit it, but it's not that big a deal. Somebody already looted it. It's not that big a deal. We'll hit these cabinets really quick, find a little anvil for some simple gun parts. And now we're gonna bounce and come back out the way we came. This is the best spot to enter and leave the hospital for this loot route. Just right here on the side. Super easy. And at this point, it's going to be just straight weapon cache spawns. Like, I'm not going to be looting any lockers or anything like that moving forward. I'm just going to show you a bunch of the weapon cache spawns. A lot of these are super low key. Like, if they spawn, they're almost always unlooted. Like, most people just do not know about the ones that I'm about to show you, except for one of them. One of them's super common, but first one right here on that bench didn't spawn. JJ. But I don't think I've ever seen that one looted. Like, it spawns pretty frequently, but it's always unlooted. Nobody knows about it. Next one right here at the end of the train tracks or whatever. Everybody knows about this one, or not everybody, but this one's super common. Didn't spawn, but it could spawn right there on ping. But yeah, it's a little breachable door there. Somebody already looted it, obviously. Like I said, very common. People know that one. Next up, this one's pretty rare, but also very few people know about it. So when it does spawn, it's always unlooted. And it spawned. Nice. 5 minutes left in the match, and it's unlooted. Obviously, just nobody knows it's here. Unfortunately, it only dropped an El Toro, which kind of sucks. I feel like it's pretty uncommon to get green weapons. Maybe not super uncommon, but like, I guess it's not super common to get green weapons from weapon caches and night raids, but I've gotten a Berletta and an El Toro so far this raid, which is pretty crazy. Either way though, we're gonna hit the roofs. I'm gonna take this zip, and there's quite a few weapon cache spawns right in this little area, like pretty condensed, and they're all very easy to get to. So the first one is in the attic right here. Drop down, boom, and spawn. Let's go. There we go. Finally, we got a blue weapon. Oh, and a Venator blueprint. That's actually big money. Like, if you don't have the Venator blueprint, this is like the best feeling in the world getting this shit. We don't really need it, but I mean, it is 5k credits, so we're gonna grab it. Next one is drop down right here. Gonna go through the window that I pinged. And this weapon cache can spawn like somewhere right over there. I haven't actually seen this one too many times, so I'm not super familiar with exactly where it spawns, but it's like right there on my ping somewhere. Next up, we're just gonna keep on moving. Keep her moving. We're definitely running out of time a little bit here, but don't need to rush. We've still got a couple minutes. Next one is in this house, very tippy top floor, and it's gonna be in like the kitchen area. Yeah, it would be right there, but didn't spawn. All right, so yeah, at this point, that is pretty much gonna wrap it up. We're gonna go ahead and make our way over to the extract at this point. And we're going to check one other weapon cache spawn that we didn't check it already. I like pointed it out earlier, but I didn't actually look to see if the weapon cache was there. So let's take a peek real quick. It's the one that's out in the middle of the area where the extract is, like in the wide open. Just going to take our time through here though, make sure we have full stamina. This is like one of the sketchy parts of the whole run, is actually getting to the extract. A little surveyor. Actually, never mind. I take it back. I'm not even gonna go look for the weapon cache spawn. I'll throw up a map of where it's at. The one I'm talking about, though, I already showed a clip of it earlier. I'm pretty sure at this point. So I'll just throw up the map of the one I'm talking about, and let's go ahead and boot, scoot, and boogie and extract on out of here. Alrighty folks, and there you have it. So it was a pretty successful run. Truthfully, this is probably the least amount of weapons I've ever gotten from doing this route. I mean, we did get quite a few green weapons, which we just salvaged down to simple gun parts, but as far as blue and purple weapons go, this is pretty lackluster. I'd say it's exceedingly rare to not have one of the two weapon caches spawn in the Santa Maria houses, which in this run, neither of them did. That's where you're usually going to get a purple weapon. With that being said, we did get the two blueprints, which kind of balances things out, and we got tons of trinkets, obviously. And really, the Venator blueprint, if you didn't already have that, is easily probably one of the best items in the entire game, because it just changes the way you play the game going forward, being able to bring in Venator 4s every time. Smoke grenade blueprint, also super awesome. I didn't even have that one yet. I love bringing in smokes, so this is pretty sick for me. And yeah, to kind of wrap everything up though, I'm going to throw up some screenshots here so you guys can get like an aerial perspective of the routes. There's the main route here. This is the one where, you know, if it was me, I would simply just be rerunning this route over and over. I'd run it, at the end of it, extract. You're going to have a full inventory every single time, and then you can just redo it again. It's going to be by far the most efficient way to go about this, in my opinion. But then here is kind of the extended route that I showed towards the end for those of you that really just want to run around and farm up as many weapon caches as possible, or min-max your inventory to some extent. Or maybe you're even playing with a squad. You know, if you're playing with a squad, you might need to do more than just that original loot route to kind of get everybody's pockets full. So that's kind of a great way to use that. And other than that, yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed the video. If you did, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, share it with your friends, and have a good day.